Hello, lovely viewers. Welcome back to the channel. So today's video has been overdue, and I apologize for getting this out later than others have. But since so much of this year is still left to explore, I thought it's best to release this video in case any of you is curious to understand how the year 2022 is going to turn out for you. Hence, today's video is going to be an annual or yearly prediction of 2022 for all zodiac signs. And with each of these zodiac signs, I will be giving you a piece of advice from my humble opinion based on your transit chart. If you are interested to know more, please keep watching and don't forget to keep supporting me as you have generously been by subscribing to the channel and liking and commenting on these videos. Now, I know we all want to skip to the part of the video with our own zodiac sign and just hear that, which of course is totally fine. But I would like to request you to bear with me for a little while because I want to help you understand how to check your yearly predictions for 2022 accurately. So, starting off first by understanding the concept of transits. Every planet keeps transiting from one zodiac sign to another, and that is how we calculate your transit chart and predict how your year would turn out for you. This is not your birth chart. That stays static. And that is not the basis of this analysis, of course, except your ascendant sign, which is important to check for your yearly predictions. Now, what an ascendant is basically in your birth chart, whichever sign sits in your first house is your ascendant, as shown on the screen. The houses stay static, and it is just the zodiac sign in each of the houses that changes with each differing ascendant. The predictions based on your transit chart can differ in results based on personal planetary placements and which planet's dasha you are currently going through. Okay, cool. Now that we have that out of the way, I want to make it clear that when you see your prediction in this video, I will only be talking about 4 entities in your chart. That is your Saturn, Jupiter, Rahu and Ketu, or North Node and South Node, because these are the slower moving planets or nodes, and their transits make the most significant, impactful changes in your chart and life for a longer period of time, as opposed to planets like Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon, and Mars that keep changing their signs frequently, and hence their impact isn't as evidently felt for a longer period of time. Also, being shown on the screen are the transit dates for the major changes happening in this year in the planetary alignment. And as you can see, most of these are happening in April. So for this video, I will firstly talk about the period of the year from Jan until April, and then the changes that will happen for you after the signs get changed and cause major shifts from April to the end of the year. So now, we're going to start off the predictions for each zodiac sign, and it would be my recommendation for you to watch this for your ascendant sign, as that provides you the best results and accuracy. If you have any issues with figuring that out, I'm going to be adding a link in the description of this video to help you figure out what your ascendant is based on the zodiac sign in your first house. Now, without further ado, let's get on with each of the personalized predictions for all the zodiac signs. For you Arians, until April, your main focus is going to be the expansion of your financial gains and the security of your resources, as Jupiter transits your 11th house and Rahu transits your 2nd house, amplifying these themes. This could also lead to an expansion or addition in your friend circle and family, which could be the reason behind you profiting monetarily with the help of your family and network circle. The place where you could be struggling is your career and how the recent drastic changes of your life are influencing it, as Saturn transits your 10th house, making the recognition for the hard work that you are putting in at work to not come as you expected to. And with Ketu transiting your 8th house, this could lead to transformations being triggered by unforeseen circumstances. Now, when the planets and nodes shift sign, one thread of observation that is extremely evident is that you would gravitate more towards being alone and focusing more so solely on your own self this year. As Jupiter transits your 12th house of isolation, Saturn transits 11th house of friend and network circles, and Ketu transits your 7th house of spouses or partnerships. All of these themes point towards separation and detachment from friends and partners. With Rahu transiting your first house of self, it means that your focus is turning onto yourself now. The chances of traveling and undertaking practices like meditation and spirituality also happen when Jupiter transits your 12th house. But this can also be seen that this could increase your expenses by the virtue of the 12th house being the house of losses. The hurdles regarding your career could resolve during the Saturn's transit to your 11th house from the 10th house of career, but then it could impact your network circle and gains. Nonetheless, it retrogrades back again into your 10th house from July 12th. So the stagnancy or the hurdles regarding your career don't resolve just yet. Ketu transiting your 7th house shows that you are disconnecting or distancing yourself from platonic business or intimate partnerships because as Rahu transits your first house, you are solely focused on bringing a change into your life that possibly transforms your appearance as well. My advice to you would be forego the expectation of support from anybody and believe in yourself to make the change in your career that you have been debating with yourself about. For you Taurians, until April, your focus is continuing to be on yourself rather than your relationships as Rahu is transiting your first house of self and Ketu is transiting your 7th house of love and relationships. This dynamic could have led to some troubles for couples or married people. Also, your focus has been on your work as Jupiter transits your 10th house, which brings you luck of a good impression from your superiors at work, and this could also lead to increased responsibilities and promotions. But things will not be as smooth as you want them to because Saturn transits your 9th house of luck and higher education. So, a lot of hard work is being required from you to achieve your professional and educational goals. But come April, when the planets and nodes change their signs, Rahu is going to be transiting your 12th house of isolation, losses, and foreign settlements. Rahu in itself denotes foreign influences, so by transiting into your 12th house of foreign settlements, this could suggest you getting in touch with foreigners and moving abroad. But meanwhile, you also need to be careful about your expenses being increased during this period as Rahu amplifies the 12th house of losses. Jupiter transiting your 11th house of friendship and network circle and gains shows that you can be helped in gaining wealth by your friends or your network circle. So use that benefic Jupiter energy to expand on your network circle because it can lead you to catalyzing greater gains for yourself monetarily. Ketu transiting your 6th house of legal battles, work, and general health could lead you to being dissatisfied or disconnected from the work that you're doing right now. And this can impact your daily routine, which will circle back into you having to take care about your health because Ketu transiting the 6th house can cause hidden health issues that could be harder to diagnose. There is also a possibility of grievances in relationships if not resolved that could lead to legal battles regarding official separations to be executed. Saturn's brief transit from April to July can be the window where the struggles relating to long-distance travel and higher educational qualifications could settle down. But as it retrogrades back into your 9th house, these struggles could resume back. My advice to you would be keep putting in the hard work that is being required from you now to fulfill your dreams by increasing your network circle, but also to be vigilant towards your health. For you Geminis, until April, you could be experiencing foreign cultures and traveling to foreign places as Rahu is transiting your 12th house and Jupiter is transiting your 9th house. That means that you could be also developing spiritual beliefs as well as attaining higher educational learning abroad. With Saturn transiting your 8th house, it can be difficult for you to adapt to these unforeseen events that can possibly occur in a place unknown to you, which can cause you to transform as a person. Also, Ketu is transiting your 6th house. There can be possibilities of your health being affected, causing you distress right now. Also, you might feel dissatisfied with the work environment, but as planets and nodes change sign in April, Jupiter will transit your 10th house of career and you can start to feel more optimistic about your career. Also, there are higher chances of you getting support from your network circle and superiors as Rahu transits your 11th house. And this could also lead you to have better monetary gains and promotions. Traveling longer distances or higher educational pursuits could prove a little difficult during Saturn's transit to your ninth house from April to July. But when it turns retrograde back into your eighth house, it's asking you to become comfortable with the drastic changes and transformations happening in your life at this point. Also, with Ketu transiting your fifth house, this can show that your focus is detached from fun and relationships and more so towards expanding your monetary gains and career and knowledge. My advice to you would be embrace the changes life is putting you through right now because this will give way to better friendships and gains for you as you progress towards accepting the unpredictability and making the best of it. Great times in your life are awaiting you, so just take that step forward. For you Cancerians, until April, you would be focused on amplifying your network circle for better monetary gains rather than love and relationships because Ketu is transiting your fifth house and Saturn is transiting your seventh house. Relationships are not going to be the source of happiness for you until April, especially. And during this testing time, your friends are really going to show up as your support system right now. Or professionally, this could also show tension between you and your business partners, which can be helped to a certain extent by the help of your network circle. These ups and downs and transformations or endings regarding certain things have been challenging for you to adapt to. But come April, when the planets and nodes change signs, then Jupiter transits your ninth house of luck, and this will prove much better for you to tide over these painful situations. And if you had any plans to travel for long distances, this could also become possible, as well as learning or studying to be undertaken would be favorable. There is also a chance of you really getting into spirituality and philosophy this year. Also, as Rahu transits your 10th house of career and Ketu transits your 4th house of home, it is also possible that you could be traveling to far off places from your home to pursue better work opportunities or higher learning as your career and educational qualifications become your priority. Saturn briefly transits your 8th house from April to July, which could also prove to be a little difficult as sudden changes can be possible in your life. But it again retrogrades back into your 7th house after July, which can show a back and forth trouble in decision making of moving forward and leaving certain relationships behind. My advice to you would be your relationships have been difficult recently and have not given you the happiness you want. So move forward with making yourself the priority and pushing forward to achieve your dreams of your career and educational goals. Also, try to travel and adopt spiritual practices as it will help you to mend your broken heart to rediscover yourself at this point. For you Leos, until April, you could be facing greater responsibilities and focus at work that has led to some sort of separation or distance from your home and family as Rahu transits your 10th house of career and Ketu transits your 4th house of home and family. There can be conflicts and tensions brewing at your workplace with some colleagues that can be jeopardizing your work momentum with Saturn's transit to your 6th house, while this will also prove to be beneficial for your physical well being. But as planets and nodes change sign in April, you could be planning to travel more to foreign places to explore different cultures and also to possibly be interested in attaining a higher education qualification abroad as Rahu transits your ninth house. This can trigger a lot of unexpected changes and transformations that can happen during this time period as Jupiter transits your 8th house, which also makes you interested in spirituality and the study of occult science. This interest in the knowledge of hidden occult subjects could also make you focus to go more inwards than being communicatively open but more so focused on positive transformations in your life as Ketu transits your third house. During April to July, Saturn will be transiting your seventh house, which could lead to some challenges regarding any romantic or business partnerships in your life. But as Saturn retrogrades back into your sixth house, the challenges would again mostly pertain to workplace and possibly could lead to some legal battles as well. This tension could be making you question your work environment and career. So, my advice to you would be, even though your efforts don't manifest exactly the way you want them to, take the chances you want to take for your future to get out of a situation or work that feels toxic and limiting. Uncertainty is going to lead you to greater joys. So don't hesitate to take those risks to attain your dreams. For you Virgos, until April, you can be interested in traveling long distances and getting to know different cultural aspects, and also in possibly pursuing a higher educational degree abroad. The challenge could come to you until April from the disconnect that you feel in your romantic relationships, which can also be caused by distant communication patterns and the feeling of insufficiency in your self efforts being caused by Saturn transiting your fifth house and Ketu transiting your third house. But your superiors will be supportive of you at work during this period until April as Jupiter transits your sixth house. With Saturn and Ketu's transit, it can also show that if you have children, they could be going through some tough times academically and you have not been able to communicate your support to them effectively. As planets and nodes change signs in April, you can notice that your partner, either platonic or romantic, is going to be able to support you and guide you during the times of uncertainty and challenges that are being caused in your life as Rahu transits your 8th house while Jupiter transits your 7th house. Your families and your professional support at work can waver a bit as Saturn moves into your 6th house of disputes and enemies and Ketu into your 2nd house of family values and savings. What this could also signify is that there might be some business idea that you're wanting to pursue which is not being supported by either your family or colleagues, which can cause a lot of ups and downs in your life. There is also a possibility of you having to use your family's resources or your own savings to kickstart this business venture. So, my advice to you would be bet on the ideas that you have been working on and dreaming about, despite risks and changes that are scary right now, as they will be helpful ultimately to achieve your dreams and make it your reality. Also, forego all ill feelings towards the people who don't see your vision right now and believe that, despite their disapproval, they do have your best interest at heart. For you Librans, until April, you have to be careful about the feelings of detachment and distance that you can feel from your family and home as Ketu transits your 2nd house and Saturn transits your 4th house. And this could potentially signify some challenges in the health of your family. Besides this, there is also a chance of you doing your research into unconventional, risk-prone ways of wealth gain through speculation and share markets, which can give you gain but also can cause you greater losses that puts your savings at a greater disadvantage as Jupiter transits your 5th house and Rahu transits your 8th house. Also, you could be welcoming a child into your life by the benefic transit of Jupiter into your 5th house. As April comes and the planets and nodes change signs, you will notice some difficulties with your own health as Ketu transits your 1st house of self. And with Jupiter's transit into the 6th house, you can now start looking into alternative medicine to help heal your health concerns. Also, you will get the support of your partner and colleagues as Jupiter transits your 6th house and Rahu transits your 7th house. The possibility of you meeting someone exotic or different than your usual choice of partner who can make you fall head over heels for them also arises with Saturn's transit, wherein your focus completely shifts from yourself to your partner or a new love. There could be some challenges in this new romance that can be caused by Saturn's transit from April to July into your fifth house of romance. But when it retrogrades back into your fourth house of family, it can represent their disapproval of your choice of partner, which can also cause some friction between you and your family. So, my advice to you would be embrace this new feeling of love and romance, but also don't forget yourself or your family while diving deep into a relationship. Remember to take care of your health and look into different alternate medicine practices to help revitalize your health. For you Scorpios, until April, your focus is going to be on your family and relationships as Jupiter transits your fourth house and Rahu transits your seventh house. This could also mean that a relationship that you have cultivated over the past year or the beginning of this year has been moving towards marriage and formulation of a new family unit, with which comes the chance of moving into a new home. But there has been some struggle with regards to your own self-image and self-efforts as Ketu transits your first house of self and Saturn transits your third house. That implies that your communication has been struggling to be able to connect with others. Also, with the combination of Rahu in the seventh house and Saturn in the third house could mean that you have a business idea that you can be slowly but steadily pushing to get out. But as April comes and the planets and nodes change signs, you will achieve a greater impulse to take on a journey of spirituality and self-discovery as Ketu moves into your 12th house. You could be interested in meditation and performing yoga in isolation to continue on your healing journey, as this is amplified by Rahu going into your 6th house, which shows that alternative healing practices are going to appeal to you during this time. Be careful of people misleading you at work that can cause you some disputes. But you are now going to be focusing on your efficiency at work and overcoming battles at work. As Jupiter moves into your 5th house, this could lead to better romantic relationships or prospect of having children this year. You can also acquire money through speculative gains like share market. But Saturn moving into your 4th house during April to July could lead to some difficulties being caused at the home and family front. Saturn then retrogrades back into your 3rd house after July, continuing your struggle with communication, especially with your siblings, and feelings of inadequacy of efforts. My advice to you would be do the inner work that you are being called to do right now, because it will help you to lay better foundations for new beginnings and chapters approaching in your life. Focus on communicating effectively and do the work you want to without doubting yourself. For you Sagittarians, until April, you could face some losses monetarily of either your families or your own savings, possibly for a good cause like charity, or this could also signify challenges with regards to loss of some family member that causes a deep philosophical shift in your perspective due to Saturn transiting your 2nd house and Ketu transiting your 12th house. These placements also show that you have been refraining from communicating with your family because of certain challenges that can make you to cultivate interest in learning meditation, spirituality, etc. These challenges can also lead you to focus on your work even more so, and your efforts are getting recognized and appreciated by your superiors as well by the transit of Jupiter in your 3rd house and Rahu in your 6th house. But as planets and nodes change sign in April, you will notice a change in your life, with the possibilities of a new romance beginning. So the fun quotient increases in your life as Rahu transits your 5th house, but you must be careful about taking greater risks with speculative gains like gambling or the share market, which although can make you good money but might make you lose more so too. You can experience separation from your friend or network circle while diving deeper into your romantic relationships as Ketu enters your 11th house. As Jupiter transits your 4th house and Saturn your 3rd house, the pressure and difficulties regarding family members gets some relief, and a possibility of an investment in a property appears too. But as Saturn returns or retrogrades back into your second house again after July, the focus regarding money management and family becomes amplified, with malefics being present in the second and the 11th house of money and gains. So, my advice to you would be focus on managing your money according to your goals and diversify your investment portfolio in limit of your risk appetite. Welcome the new changes that romance will bring into your life, but also try to strike a balance between your new love interest and your friends and family. For you Capricorns, until April, you are going to be capitalizing on your monetary gains and savings by indulging into speculative gains like share market and cryptocurrencies too, possibly as Jupiter transits your second house and Rahu transits your fifth house. But you must be careful of not indulging in higher risk appetite, because this could also lead you to have greater losses of any gains that you make potentially while Ketu transits your 11th house. Also, be vigilant of your food habits to avoid too much rich, fatty, or sweet food until April, especially because with the effects of Jupiter in your second house and Saturn transiting your first house can lead you to have any health issues if your food intake is not looked at. Your focus will also be on a new romantic connection or enhancement of creativity in your life that could lead you to have some sort of distance between you and your friendship or network circle as Ketu transits your 11th house. But when the planets change sign in April, you will see your focus changing towards your home and family as Rahu goes into your fourth house. So, this can also signify that you start becoming serious about your romantic relationship and want to settle down, while your career will become a lesser priority for you in the coming year because your personal life and family take precedence. When Saturn transits into your second house, there could be difficulties that could arise regarding your family and savings. Possibly since someone close to you could be facing grievances in their life which they might require monetary help for. Your communication and learning abilities can become better as Jupiter transits your third house. And you can also feel that your connection with your siblings start becoming better. This can also signify that traveling could be possible for you during this period, but up to short distances only. My advice to you would be please be careful of your own health and your family's health, as this year Saturn oscillates between your second house of family and retrograding into your first house of self. Focus on your family and siblings right now to formulate better communication between each other so that you are able to overcome any possible obstacles. Even though your work means so much to you, it is okay at times to take some time out to focus solely on your well being and your families. For you Aquarians, until April, you will be focused more so on your family and home rather than your career and reputation, as Rahu transits your fourth house and Ketu transits your 10th house. Still, people's view about you is going to be positive, as Jupiter is bringing you luck through transiting from your first house of self. And this can also make you more philosophical or optimistic. You could also be donating money for causes close to your heart to help underprivileged people. When the planets and nodes change sign in April, you can be closer to your family and siblings as Rahu enters your third house and Jupiter enters your second house, bringing amplification to the areas of communicating with siblings and family. Also, you could take journeys to places close by with them. Where the challenge for you comes is with Ketu transiting your ninth house and Saturn into your first house until July. You can be left contemplating about your self image and your religious or spiritual identity that makes you question yourself. If you had any plans to travel to long distances abroad in order to undertake any higher educational qualifications, then that process would become a little difficult. This time period from April to July can be especially hard for your identity unfavorably, but this will get better as Saturn retrogrades back into your 12th house after July, and you can channelize all the questions and conundrums into philanthropic initiatives. My advice to you would be keep exploring your self identity and your spiritual inclination. Focus on your family, and travel is also possible for you to nearby places. So enjoy these opportunities and keep up the help that you have been giving to people who are less fortunate than you. You Pisces, until April, there are going to be some struggles relating to your friends or network circle and gains as Saturn transits your 11th house, which has made you communicate closely with your friends and siblings as Rahu transits your 3rd house, and this has made you question your belief system and religious or spiritual values as Ketu transits your 9th house. Hence, your focus and knowledge has been shifted towards spirituality and isolation and meditation as Jupiter transits your 12th house. There can be some struggles in relation to pursuit of any higher educational qualifications too, but come April, when the planets and nodes change sign, things seem to become much more better for you, as the lord of your ascendant, Jupiter, transits your 1st house of self. Hence, you would be feeling more optimistic and lucky during this period. Rahu transiting into your 2nd house will enhance your focus on your family and savings, which will help you to tide any uncertainties and transformations that can be happening in your life due to the transit of Ketu in your 8th house, which can further enhance your interest in occult sciences. Saturn, for a brief period, transits into your 12th house, bringing a relief from the challenges of your friendships and monetary gains. But it retrogrades back into your 11th house, bringing the previous challenges back again to test your learnings. My advice to you would be keep believing in yourself because good times for you are just around the corner. So do not be worried about people supporting you because you have to first focus on being your own biggest supporter. Keep a close contact with your family members as they will help you through the unforeseen changes that will take place in your life soon. With this, I come to the end of this video, which took a lot of research and intuitive understanding. So I would greatly appreciate if you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. I would also like to hear from you what your hopes and wishes for the year 2022 are. And if you relate to any part of this video, then do sound off in the comment section. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much for your support and I will see you with the next video soon. Until then, take care you all.